This is a video about how I got 4 out of 4 offers in medical school and how you can do the same. My name is John, I'm a second year medical student and pianist from the UK. In this video I'm going to talk you through the 3 main things that I use to help me get 4 out of 4 offers. So, tip number 1, apply smart. Please, I'm begging you. So let's dig into this. It was the summer of year 12, I'd just done the UCAT and my score was by definition low to average. I got 645 averaged across all the sections, and at this point I was sort of bricking it. I had friends that had gone to medical school before me, but I hadn't heard about any of them that had got less than 700 in the UCAT. So I thought I was screwed. At this point I was like, right, okay, I've just got to increase the chances as much as possible. Any university with a UCAT cutoff, I sacked off completely. No matter how much I wanted to go, it's not going to happen. And this is what I mean by apply smart. You'll be shocked by how many people don't consider this at all. They'll have a low UCAT or a low to average BMAT and they'll apply to universities with a cutoff or with a high requirement. And this is just throwing away an option. Ultimately, getting into medical school is more important than where you study. It's the same qualification anywhere you go. People say this all the time and that's because it's true. It doesn't matter where you go, it's the same qualification. A lot of people choose their medical schools by essentially picking names out of a hat or picking big cities or picking places in London or picking a particular area they want to go, which is fine. But remember that these places and these options are subject to change depending on what you get. You need to research what these universities want and whether you meet that criteria, because if you don't, you're not going to hear back with good news. So, for example, in my case, I had a relatively low UCAT. My predicted grades were pretty good, they were at least 2 A stars and an A. My GCSEs were strong, I got 9 9s and 1 7, but my UCAT wasn't all that good. So I prioritised universities with a low UCAT requirement or that didn't put a heavy weighting on the UCAT. So in my cycle, they ended up being Leicester, Kiel, where I currently study, Liverpool and Nottingham. Now remember, these were based on my cycle, so be sure to check on Medic Portal and other websites to see if these requirements have changed or what is specific to your year, because it does change year on year. I just made sure that my personal statement was up to scratch and that I was including the key skills that they would require of a doctor. But not only that I had these skills, but that I practically applied them. We'll touch on this in more detail later. So yeah, that's my application so far, and eventually I hear back from all 4 unis with offers for interviews. Now, research the universities. This is very important. Once I had the interviews, it was about understanding what these universities were all about and what they want from the students studying there. So I read through the medical course for all of these universities, understood what teaching style they used, what they prioritize, what skills they might want from the students, and just generally to get a feel for the vibe of the uni, what they stand for and what they consider important. Now, these things are important as you need to bring them up in your interview to show the uni that you're a good fit for them. So for example, if they're passionate about their campus, then say that a good working environment is important for you. Their campus forms part of the reason why you applied to that medical school. If they're big on research, show the universities that you're into research. If you've done an EPQ, for example, try and bring that up. What's most important is that you know how they actually run the course. Do they use a lot of PBL? Do they use mainly lectures? In Kiel's case, are they a spiral course? They will likely ask you about this in the interview, so make sure you're prepared to answer what you think about this uni's particular learning style. Is it suited to you? So Kiel, for example, they're big on anatomy, they do full body dissection, so I made it clear in the interview that that's something I'm massively passionate about and that would really help my particular style of learning. You need to show the unis that you're a good fit for them and why they should want you. So essentially it's a game. What does the uni want? Do I have that? Yes, play the game right, win the prizes. This last section is about the NHS Constitution and forming stories which involve the key skills of a doctor. The first thing you need to do when preparing for your interviews is read this book. Read it all. This will give you the key skills that you need in order to ace your interview. This book provides the basics, but you need a level further. So, let's take a look at the NHS Constitution. This essentially outlines key principles that staff should employ. You need to show the interviewers that you not only have these skills, but you've actively used them. If somebody on the street says to you, oh right, I can do this, I'll be like, oh great, when have you done that? If they're not able to reply, I'm not going to believe them. So you need to show the universities that you've used these skills in an actual context. For example, you might have shown compassion when caring for an elderly patient, at work experience or during your volunteering, or even just life experience in general. You might have an elderly relative who perhaps suffers from dementia. You went and helped look after them, you've been doing it for years, etc. So what I did was I essentially described scenarios in which I used the key skills of the NHS Constitution, and you just want to slot those anecdotes, those stories in whenever you can. Not only do you want to use anecdotes for the NHS Constitution, but also for the key skills required of a doctor. So things like empathy, teamwork, patience, compassion, leadership, persistence, all of this sort of stuff, independence. So you need to essentially write down scenarios in which you have used these skills and just slot them in literally wherever you can. Now, I use the STAR formula, which is great for chunking quite complicated, longer stories into key points that you can remember quite easily. The STAR formula is situation, task, action, and result. Now, this just makes it way easier to chunk a long story with lots of different parts in it into just key points. You envision them in your head, bang, say them. Okay, so that's about it from me. So let's just wrap up real quick. Apply smart. You want to maximize your chances of getting in. You want to increase the number of interviews as much as you can because you don't know what they might ask on the day. Okay, number 2. Research the universities in depth and understand what they want from you as a student, and show them that you have the things that they're looking for. Show them that you genuinely care about where you want to study. Okay, and the third and last thing, link your work experiences or life experiences in with the skills of the NHS Constitution and the key skills of a doctor. You not only want to show the interviewers that you have these skills, but that you've actively used them. Okay. Well, that's it from me. If you have any questions or requests for things you want to see in the future, maybe more in-depth stuff about the interview, about the application, drop it in the comments. I'll see you all very soon. Peace.